Welcome back to the channel. In the year 1983, the United States found itself navigating a complex world. The economy, while recovering, was dealing with the aftermath of a major recession that had gripped the nation in the early 1980s. Amid all of this change and challenge, the U.S. Mint quietly continued its essential work, producing the coins that Americans would use every day. And among the billions of coins struck that year, $1/4, barely noticed at the time, would later go on to become a sought-after gem by collectors. That coin was the 1983 quarter dollar with the P mint mark. Now, if you've ever held a quarter in your hand and glanced at the obverse side, the side with the face, you've probably noticed the familiar profile of George Washington. But if you're like most people, you probably never looked much further than that. What you might have missed, however, is the tiny mint mark tucked next to Washington's ponytail. That single letter, P, has a story of its own. And in the case of the 1983 quarter, it's a key to unlocking a world of history, intrigue, scarcity, and unexpected value. But before we get too far ahead, let's rewind the clock a bit, just to set the scene. It's easy to take for granted the coins in our pockets. But each coin tells a story, and every year of mintage is shaped by the events of its time. In the early 1980s, inflation had been high, interest rates were soaring, and the American economy had taken a beating. The U.S. Mint, always trying to balance efficiency and budget concerns, was under pressure to produce coins as economically as possible. As a result, 1983 marked a continuation of a curious trend that had begun a few years earlier. The U.S. Mint was not producing any official mint sets for collectors. Now, here's where things get interesting. Even though over 673 million quarters were struck at Philadelphia that year, the vast majority entered circulation immediately. That means truly high-quality, uncirculated examples, especially those with strong strikes and minimal marks, are incredibly hard to come by today. This scarcity has made the 1983 P quarter one of the standout coins of the decade for collectors. Let's talk a little more about the design. The obverse side of the quarter still featured the stately image of George Washington, first introduced in 1932 to commemorate the 200th anniversary of his birth. Designed by John Flanagan, the bust of Washington became an enduring icon on American coinage. His gaze is firm, his posture dignified, and the motto, "In God We Trust," rests to his left, while the word "Liberty" arches over his head. Beneath his chin is the date, 1983, and, next to his ponytail, a small, P mint mark. That little letter indicates it was struck at the Philadelphia Mint. You might be wondering, if over 500 million of these quarters were minted, how can any single one of them be worth more than its face value, let alone $86? The answer lies in a combination of rarity, condition, and timing. Let's start with rarity. As mentioned earlier, the Mint didn't issue official uncirculated sets in 1983. This meant collectors couldn't get pristine, untouched coins directly from the source. Any uncirculated 1983 P quarter had to be pulled from general circulation, meaning very few exist in gem condition today. And as every experienced collector knows, condition is king. Then there's the timing. The coin collecting world didn't recognize the rarity of high-grade 1983 P quarters until years later. For a long time, they were overlooked. But as collectors began to realize how few uncirculated examples existed, the coin's popularity surged. It went from common pocket change to a key date in modern quarter collections, especially for those building complete sets of Washington quarters from 1932 onward. Auction results began to show the trend clearly. Collectors were willing to pay increasing amounts for top-condition examples. Coin dealers began searching their back stock and change jars, hoping to find just one high-quality 1983 P quarter. And when they did, those coins didn't stay in inventory long. The 1983 P quarter is also part of a broader numismatic mystery. Alongside the 1982 coins, it belongs to a short list of U.S. coins from the modern era that lack official mint sets. That alone has made it a point of interest for collectors looking to complete modern coin albums, where empty slots for 1982 and 1983 stand as glaring gaps. In the world of collecting, few things are more satisfying than finding that missing piece, that final puzzle part, that elusive coin that completes the set. And the 1983 P quarter plays that role perfectly for many. Now, let's talk value. A verified, graded 1983 P quarter in MS67 condition recently sold for a remarkable $86. That's 344 times its face value. For a coin most people overlook, that's nothing short of incredible. It serves as a reminder that hidden treasures can still be found in the most ordinary places. That quarter in your change jar? It might not just be 25 cents, it could be history in your hands. So next time you get change at the grocery store or dig through your old coin jar, take a closer look. You never know what you'll find. It might just be a humble 1983 quarter with a tiny P on the front, and a big story behind it. Let me tell you a story, not just of a coin, but of a moment in time. Of a state. Of history. Of craftsmanship. And of a hidden gem that's now turning heads in the world of collectors and coin enthusiasts. In the year 2000, the U.S. Mint embarked on what would become one of the most beloved and ambitious coin series in American numismatic history, the 50 State Quarters program. A bold initiative, it aimed to honor each of the 50 states in the order they ratified the Constitution or were admitted into the Union. One by one, each state would get its moment to shine, its unique history etched in metal, circulating across the nation in people's change jars, pockets, and memories. And then came Maryland, the seventh state to ratify the U.S. Constitution, officially joined the Union in 1788. It's a state steeped in colonial and revolutionary history, home to the United States Naval Academy, and one of the key battlegrounds of both the American Revolution and the Civil War. In designing the quarter, it was clear that the image had to be iconic. The dome itself is captured in intricate detail, surrounded by white oak branches on each side. This wasn't a random choice either. The white oak is Maryland's state tree, and it holds symbolic meaning, strength, endurance, and natural beauty. On the obverse, as with all state quarters, we see the familiar profile of George Washington, sculpted by John Flanagan. His face, strong and stoic, stares left, a constant through many decades of American coinage. But just below Washington's neck lies something quite special, the mint mark. In our story, it's the letter P, standing for the Philadelphia Mint. Now, Philadelphia has a long-standing legacy in American coin production. It's the birthplace of the U.S. Mint itself, established in 1792. And it was here that the Maryland quarter with the Roosevelt Mint mark, P, was struck, adding an extra layer of interest for collectors. The coin we're focusing on was minted in the year 2000, right at the dawn of a new millennium. It marked a time of transition, reflection, and optimism. Perhaps that's part of its appeal too. So what exactly makes this Maryland quarter special? Why has this otherwise ordinary-looking coin, tucked away in jars, purses, and glove compartments for years, suddenly emerged as a valuable collectible? The answer lies in scarcity, condition, and a few quirks that only the trained eye of a collector can spot. You see, not all coins are created equal, even if they share the same design and year. Some coins, due to minting errors, lower than usual production numbers, or even unique die conditions, become highly sought after. The 2000 Maryland quarter with the P mint mark, particularly in pristine condition or with specific striking anomalies, falls into this rarefied category. Auction houses, online marketplaces, and coin conventions have all seen a spike in interest for this coin. Once considered just another state quarter, the Maryland 2000 P has quietly risen in the ranks, thanks in part to its historical importance, scarcity in high grades, and collector fascination. So here's where it gets really interesting. Among the thousands, perhaps millions, of Maryland quarters minted, a select few have fetched surprising sums. While circulated versions still trade hands for pocket change, the rare, high-grade examples, those with that Roosevelt Mint mark, P, have been appraised and sold for amounts far beyond their face value. One such coin recently made headlines in the collecting world by fetching a value of $102. Yes, that's right. A quarter, worth 25 cents at face value, sold for over $100. And it wasn't encrusted in gold or dipped in platinum. It was a simple U.S. state quarter, meticulously preserved, sharply struck, and highly desirable to the right collector. You might be wondering, could I have one of these rare coins and not even know it? it's entirely possible, collectors are out there looking. Dealers are hunting. And coin enthusiasts are always on the lookout for that next discovery, that next overlooked gem hiding in plain sight. Now, beyond just the monetary value, there's something inherently fascinating about coins like these. They're time capsules. They tell stories. They connect us to our past, to the founding of our states, the legacy of our government, and the artistry of American craftsmanship. Every scratch, every imperfection, or in this case, every perfect strike, tells a story of human hands, machines, and moments frozen in metal. The Maryland 2000 State Quarter with the P mint mark is more than just a coin, it's a piece of living history. From its roots in Annapolis, to its place in our pockets, and now, to its value in the collecting world, it's had a journey worth celebrating. So next time you reach into your wallet or dig through that old change jar, pause for a moment. There could be more than just change in your hand. There could be a story. A piece of history. Or maybe, just maybe, a $102 surprise waiting to be discovered.